MELF.
So let's give him a nice warm Toronto welcome. Toronto ComiCon welcome for Jason from Make 'em Laugh Films. Here he comes to the stage. Make him feel welcome, everybody. There he is. Now you guys gave him more claps than you gave me. Give me some claps too. Come on. Yeah. Thanks very much.
I actually think we could do even better than that. Let's make some noise!
Yeah.
That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear.
So this panel, they gave it the title, The Sean Ward Show Live. Now, if I was actually looped in on something in the planning stages that was gonna get called The Sean Ward Show Live, I'd have lights going, I'd have people dancing, there'd be singers, there'd be acts, because that's the kind of live show that we like to do when we do a live show. But for this kind of format here at Comic-Con, we wanted to come and get a sense of you know, what you guys are interested in, because obviously you have seen us exhibiting out in the hall. We've got the big TV set up over there showing a lot of videos that we've done, some of the ones that we've done in studio, some of the ones we've done on the street like prank style, some of the ones we've done when we travel to go to Comic-Cons together. So we're going to want to know a lot from you guys, what you want to know from us. So we're going to be taking questions probably on the earlier side of this panel. But before we get into that, we just want to give a little bit of an intro for anybody who's not familiar with who we are and what we do. I'll let my colleague Jason Burgos go first.
All right, so I started Make 'em Laugh Films, and much like Sean's channel, it's based on cosplay, comedy, and most importantly, fun. Mostly based on superhero characters. Started the channel way back in 2009 at this point at the University of Illinois through a film club. And I continued the channel throughout the years after I moved back to Chicago and ultimately to Florida. Yes, I came all the way from Florida to be with you fine people today. Yeah. Braving the winter cold. I'm not used to it, but it's well worth it. I'm having a blast with all of you guys, filming new videos and just, you know, overall loving the atmosphere here at Toronto Comic-Con. But yeah, we put out videos sometimes once, twice, 2 times a week at this time, making fun of all Marvel, DC related content, and even dipping into some Star Wars occasionally. But yeah, this is absolutely what we love to do. It's, you know, my creative passion. I'm a health administrator by day as a director, and then a director by night, directing these kinds of comedy videos based on superhero content. So, you know, it's what I love to do, and I'm always looking to take it to the next level.
That's right. So I run my name is Sean Ward, obviously. I run a channel called The Sean Ward Show. How we got started was doing Batman-themed videos back in 2012. We did a couple of videos when the channel was nothing, and we did a couple of Batman videos that like caught a spark and got on the news, and we were interviewed by people in like Japan and CBS News, and like it was just like nuts, like this silly Batman prank video. Like you remember there used to be a trend called, you know, that word SH''T. So-and-so says, Batman says. So we were doing our version of that, gave it a different title, called it Batman's Night Out, but that video caught on. So in that thrust of these videos going viral, we had done a video called Batman's Night Out. This guy, at the time, was going to school in the Chicago area. He did a response video called Joker's Night Out. We didn't know each other yet, and then we got to know each other because I saw that video and we got talking, and then he came up here and we made some videos together that ended up being very successful. And yeah, so we've both been doing the superhero thing on 2 different channels. We appear in a lot of videos that each other does, and we travel to a lot of conventions together. My channel has actually crossed the 1 million subscriber milestone just before Christmas, which is incredible. And we got videos that we've done that are like, you know, the biggest prank video on all of YouTube is the Spider-Verse flash mob prank that we did here in Dundas Square in Toronto. That's right now at 230 million views. And on my channel, we're up to almost 1 billion views total on all of the videos, which is pretty nuts. And so, yeah, we wanted to come down here and share a little bit with you guys about, you know, our adventures that we've had making these videos, and, you know, what it takes to kind of get in this world of making videos and Comic-Con and navigating what that's like. So if anybody has any questions out there, we're happy to kind of take them right from the jump. We know a lot of people are curious about YouTube and content creation and, you know, how to navigate the world of Comic-Con. Any hands? Anybody want to go first with the question? Or you could think up another one while we're chatting up here. The main thrust of it for me is that when I had that first video that I did that got up to 1 million views, I had seen a video called The Death and Return of Superman by Max Landis, and he's a screenwriter. In fact, he was the writer of that movie Bright that's on Netflix. He's written a bunch of other stuff as well. But back in 2012, or maybe even 2011, he did a video in like the same style as those drunk history videos, where he's on a stage, big white background, he's telling the story of the death and return of Superman, both from the comics, but also like the real life phenomena of it. And as the story goes, he's drinking until he's getting more drunk and more, you know, emphatic about it as he goes. And I remember seeing that and thinking, oh my God, that video's got over 1 million views. Like, what could even could I even dream of that one day, getting a video that does that well? And then we made that Batman video that did 1 million views in a week, and when that happened, I just like seized it. I was just like, okay, well that is the seed planted. That is gonna be like what this career on YouTube that I'm trying to make is gonna sprout out of. And so we tended it like a garden, and had 3 more videos get on the news that year. And then by the time Jason came up, we were doing a superhero hockey video, and then again the news crews came around for that. And then I made a decision at the beginning of 2014 to try to actually build something steady and actually build a steady audience by doing a video every week. And it's been literally every week from the beginning of 2014 to right now. So a little over 6 years since we had our first viral hit, and 4 years since we've been going every week with it. And we've survived through the YouTube adpocalypse and through channels getting shut down and all the new draconian measures, through having our stuff get flagged for, you know, not appropriate for all advertisers, and some of my videos are behind the age gate now, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of just like a very, very brief overview of like, you know, how my channel kind of went from just being nothing, I was sticking videos for fun basically, into how it's kind of turned into a business and a thing that, you know, gets us to take up a whole row at the ComiCon over here. And you said earlier that your channel was not specifically a superhero video superhero channel out of the gate. It kind of evolved into that, right? Tell them a little bit about like how your channel developed.
Well, the first 2 videos were a Dark Knight parody and then a parody of the Saw franchise. So we had a little bit of diversity with that, but the superhero parodies became more popular, more loved right from the get-go. So that's what we stuck with. And plus, you see new Marvel and DC movies coming out so frequently these days. Just this year alone, it's astounding to see Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, movies like Aquaman, Deadpool 2, just all in 1 year slate. So, you know, it's, yeah, we'll slide on over here.
We got a special guest that just joined us. This is Mackenzie Smith.
That this was happening.
That's okay. This is Mackenzie. She's done a lot of videos with us as well. Yeah, you might have seen her in such illustrious videos as Spider-Man and Mary Jane versus the Shark.
Yeah.
Or Spider-Man goes in the pool.
Who doesn't like that shark? You know?
Yeah. So sorry to cut you off there, Jason.
Sorry,
we just
dude.
had to let
Hi,
the
guys,
people
sorry.
know what's up with Mackenzie over here.
Sorry.
And yeah. So when you moved from Chicago to Florida, Central Florida, Chicago is much more of an urban environment. Did you see any kind of like difference in the flavor of your videos or anything when you made that move?
Actually, making the move was probably the best decision in my life professionally as well as creatively. I mentioned I'm a health administrator, so I was able to find a job within 3 weeks, but on the creative side, I met a group of like-minded people pretty quickly down over there. One of them being one of the main Make 'em Laugh Films team members, Peter, who owns Viera Comics, which actually became the base of operations for the Make 'em Laugh Films channel. So we film almost all of our parodies there in the comic book shop, and we feel that fans greatly appreciate that, the comic book shop setting and getting to see all that merchandise. It's like a nerd haven, really. And actually, we've cultivated many different cosplay events based in that comic book shop too, like Batman Day, Wonder Woman Day, Marvel vs. DC Day, incorporating different merchandise into the videos and such. And we've really cultivated a cosplay community that we've gotten involved in the videos then, being some of the ancillary cast members. So it's really neat going from, you know, pretty much not knowing anybody in a new location to building a cosplay community, the YouTube channel being a main component of that. It's really astounding.
Yeah, it's pretty well. So just as a show of hands, how many people out here are either run a YouTube channel or run some kind of platform where you're like doing like creative stuff that you're putting out for the world to see? Is that something you guys do?
Content creators.
We got one at the front, aim at the one at the back there. Put them up nice and high. Let me see where you are. I want to get a sense of how many there are in the room. Nice.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I see you. What up, Terry?
Yeah, I got a couple of cosplayers in the back, some YouTubers up the front. But yeah, you guys might have heard a little bit in the news about like the YouTube adpocalypse and all the demonetization and all the new rules about what you can monetize and whatnot. That has been a trip to try to, you know, walk through that fire. Because every time you make a new video now, you got to always be thinking about, oh, okay, what kind of keywords is that? Is the keywords going to trigger the robot to like flag this video, even though there's nothing wrong with it? And yeah, it's the whole world of like almost just how you get your name out there and how you work even is changing because of the whole thing of like used to be, you know, get somebody to discover you, get them to give you a shot, work your way up. Now it's like put all of the development time in on your own, keep putting stuff up online until you're actually at the tippy top level of quality, then people might, you know, come looking for you. It's a very, very strange way the world works. And then on top of that, you're trying to navigate, if I put, like I had the video that got flagged as not appropriate for all advertisers, and I couldn't tell what exactly their issue of it. And when I spoke to my network, they said that we might have been that word kidnapped was in the title, because it was like Green Goblin kidnapped Mary Jane or something like that. And yeah, because there's just like certain buzzwords that they think that you know has to do with controversial content, and then yeah, it's a very tough thing.
Big tricky
I've had
part
an appeal.
of that. Oh.
Sorry.
A tricky part of that as well is that there's no guidelines. They don't like put out a here's how to, like these are allowed and these aren't. They'll just shut you down. So I mean, I know there is like kind of guidelines, but like there isn't.
Well, they have
specifically like this is what it is. Like this will do good for you. You just kind of have to figure it out.
Well, they have like the rules. Like they have a long, you know, their big document full of their rules and the terms of service and whatnot. But then as soon as you do anything wrong, that they give you either a channel strike or you demonetize your video or anything like that. They'll never actually tell you like what specific rule you broke. It'll always be they'll just, well, we refer you to the terms of service,
just like
and this kind of thing.
8,000 pages long.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's all we can do is to try to make content that like is from our heart. To try to keep it. For me, I try to keep it. You know, I don't make it like child appropriate, but like I bleep out the swear words and whatnot, so it's like, you know, teenage appropriate and this kind of thing. And I think that's why we've been able to thrive and survive, even after a lot of other channels doing, you know, other kind of costume stuff have gotten shut down. Yeah. Anybody have any questions out there at this stage? Taryn, you got a question. It's your birthday. Give us a birthday question.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Taryn.
More Mystique. Okay, well the new X-Men movie is coming out. We don't know how good it's going to be because it's starring the same people that were in that the X-Men Apocalypse. But
like Apocalypse?
no, I wasn't a fan of X-Men Apocalypse.
Me neither.
No, it was
terrible.
Okay.
It wasn't hot. It wasn't hot.
I can't rewatch it.
But they are going to bring the X-Men into the MCU at some point, and that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Completely not anything to do with anything. Put your hand up. Put your hand up if you already got your Infinity War tickets.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Put your hand up if you didn't even know that Infinity War tickets were for sale yet.
Oh.
Oh, just one. Okay, and in the back. Okay, great. Well, now you know our public service has been done. So yeah, just a lot of people want to hear a lot of stuff about you know, YouTube and that kind of thing. You have a channel, but you don't post to it every week, right?
No.
But you do have an experience with like just kind of getting like sudden fame and getting some videos that you made just for fun actually take off in a big way, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was a little bit bananas. I just started like on a whim doing little reaction videos like one does when you don't know what else to do with your time. And for whatever reason, one of my videos just in like a couple of days went up to 50,000 views.
That.
From a channel that had like 40 subscribers at the time, and then I went to like almost 5,000. It's around 5,000 right now, which it's astounding because I haven't posted anything for like 3 years. Not 3 years, but a while. And it's just like, that's another thing is that for whatever reason, I guess like reaction videos can be trendy and whatever is happening at the time in the world for like buzzwords to come out like that, but there's no rhyme or reason to it necessarily. It's just kind of like, oh, I put up something for fun, for my own entertainment, and it turned into something that other people found enjoyable, and it got shared and started picking up traction just on like suggested views and stuff. So there's not really any way to how to get many views on your video. You just put up what you think is fun and entertaining for yourself more than anything, and then people will find the authenticity in that, I think.
Yeah, I went to a conference at the YouTube office. I don't know if how many of you people know, but Google actually has an office here in Toronto on Adelaide Street, and so YouTube has an office in that Google office, and so I've been to a few events in there and whatnot. And one thing that's kind of crazy is how you've got 3 different approaches here to the whole idea of you just make stuff that you like and that you're making it for other people like you, and then you put it up on the internet, which is the greatest invention ever because now people on the other side of the world can see it, right? Whereas Google once did a thing for, they brought in a guy from a YouTube channel because he's going to share his wisdom and like do a workshop, right?
This one's a guy that you know.
No, this was not a guy that I knew. I don't want to say who it is just because I don't want to sound like I'm slagging anybody, but just for informational purposes, how it went down was that the host got brought up, and when he's telling his story was basically that some company had the idea for the channel and hired him to be the host. And I remember being there, like, there's not really a lot of learning value to glean from that. Like, I don't know, a reply to the right ad, like, I don't know. But so when I go to other conferences and I see people talking about it more from that point of view of what I think we represent, which is just, you know, trying a lot of different things, putting work out there as often as you can, and the more stuff that you put out there, the more odds that something you did is gonna catch on and go big for you, which is a really important thing to keep in mind in the world of, you know, everybody wants their viral hits, they want the clicks, they want the likes, right? But a lot of effort put in over a long time, and then all you can do is hope to be ready for it when, like, something that you made, not even the thing that you worked really hard on or like put all your blood, sweat, and tears into or crafted it to be this big deal, just some random thing you made is gonna like shoot up to the stars and be like, oh geez, wow, how did that happen? And it's the best you can do to kind of like try to capitalize on it when it happens. So yeah, so Jason, what's the last video of yours that kind of like caught the algorithm and went big for you?
I'd say one of the last Spider-Verse videos, actually, not even a recent one, but from MegaCon a couple of years ago. So that was actually a meetup that we collaborated on back in Orlando, and it was just an insane Spider-Verse flash mob with dancing, some fighting between some bad guys and heroes, just some inside jokes thrown in, and just getting the crowd riled up, just, you know, having a good time, partying in the lobby of the convention. And it really didn't take off right away, right after I posted it. But a year later, especially as MegaCon started approaching last year, it started getting traction. It finally crossed 1 million views. And then at this time, because MegaCon is approaching once again, it's almost at that 3 million mark. So as the buzz gets out there for that specific event, you could expect more traffic, and the convention wins at the same time too, because it's really great marketing for them. Which brings me to my next point. It's really cool, I think, for all of us, seeing how these YouTube opportunities and successes can lead to these ComiCon opportunities. Now we're getting invited as guests. We are humbled to be here in the community area, getting to appear alongside some awesome, like-minded, creative people, and getting to work with everybody too for new videos, for panels such as this, and, you know, just being out there on the floor, getting to interact with everybody who's getting exposed to our content for the first time, or whether they're returning fans. And even me coming from Florida, people recognizing me from a couple of years ago, or just from the videos, people I've never met before up here even. You know, it's just very humbling.
Yeah, that's pretty, one of the things that's been the best about the whole kind of what YouTube's been able to do for us is being able to do cool things with your friends is like the best, and being able to do cool things with your friends, and it's actually a business, and it can be part of how people are able to live. Like, there's no feeling like that at all. So when we first started to, like, the channel had traction, and we've gotten to a point with it where it's like, okay, so the channel is definitely a success. We can call it a success at this point. So what's the next level? Well, the next level was we started going to all of these conventions, and we'd apply for media badges, and we'd give them our, you know, our numbers that we do, and they got a media badge, and that's how we were able to go in and meet a lot of people at all these conventions all over the country. And then as it continues to build, and as conventions keep knowing who we are, and we keep making more videos at these conventions that do well, and so the organizers are happy, we get invited to more and more of them. And so now it's actually crossing a threshold where it's not just about me being able to get a media pass and go to the convention. It's about being able to take the whole crew and go travel. So like last summer, we organized a meetup in New York around the Spider-Man Homecoming movie coming out. We got to take 7 members of our cast and crew and go to New York and see Spider-Man Homecoming come out of New York, and we organized a big Spider-Man meetup in Times Square. This year we're taking a bunch of the cast and going down to MegaCon in Orlando. We're going to be boothing together again there. Later in the year we're planning a trip to LA to take the whole show and go shoot videos at a studio in Burbank. And it's just like, when I think about those kinds of things that, like, I couldn't have even have dreamed of. Like I said before, I saw that video that had 1 million views. It was like, oh, dare to dream that I could do a video that does that well. And for a video that was that kind of video, like me being a big superhero fan, it's a Batman video that did that well. And it was like, oh man, that just seems like the kind of thing I should be doing. That's the kind of thing I wish I would have made. And then, you know, fast forward a number of years, and a couple of videos gone over 1 million, and then a couple go over 10 million. And then, you know, we got that flash mob video that's like 225, and this pool video that's 100 million. And it's like
100 million?
Yeah, about that, yeah. So it's a pretty wild ride, and it's just like to be able to do this. Another thing that we do is every time one of the big Marvel and DC and Star Wars movies comes out, we pick up enough tickets for everybody. We end up going with a crew of anywhere from 25 to 30 to go see the IMAX 3D on opening night. And just these are the kinds of things that we get to do with our friends, and it all takes me back to feeling like, remember what it felt like when we were kids, and there was one guy in the neighborhood that had a camcorder, and his mom was cool about letting us use it. So it's like March break, we'd just be scheming. We got that whole week of March break to like put all of the focus into making like an epic movie, right? It'd be like a little cop movie they were making in the neighborhood. I could tell you a whole other story about the neighbors calling the cops because we're running around with like Nintendo guns in the streets. And so just people are seeing us out their windows and called the police, and the police came and they drew their guns on us and stuff while we were making a little camcorder movie. But that feeling of doing, you know, making cool movies on camcorder with my friends, like, we weren't doing that for the money, we were doing it for the love, we were just doing it to express our creativity. And so I thought back then that what I wanted to be when I grew up was like a filmmaker, because that's what seemed to exist the closest to what I was doing with those camcorder movies. But then this thing called YouTube got invented, and this thing called streaming video got invented, where now I don't have to go through all that rigmarole of going to film school and making student films and getting them into festivals and trying to get discovered and hoping somebody gives me a job. Like, that's a whole lot of years worth of work that you don't have to do anymore, because you can literally just like make goofy stuff with your friends and put it online for people to watch, and people can find it and an audience can enjoy it, and you can like just sidestep that whole thing of trying to build a career in any kind of traditional sense and go direct to consumer with your vision and your ideas. And I mean, the fact that we can take, just like most people have a phone now with a camera on it that's better than what we could have taken even just a few years ago with a fancy, expensive, professional grade camera. Like, you can just get started so easy now. And it's just, that's such an empowering message for me, because my whole kind of creative philosophy is driven by this idea that creativity is the closest we come to real life superpowers. And so when you look at it a certain way, artists are the real life superpowers, because they're using that talent to like create things that shape hearts and minds, you know what I mean? So to think that people can get into that kind of game and start having that effect on the world so easily, and the first impressions count for so much, but it's so in your control what kind of first impression you make online, like, that's just such an empowering message for me. And it's like, any time young people ask me for advice, you know, about going to school, or their parents think they should do this or whatever, it's just like, come up with something that like you can talk about on YouTube, and just don't stop talking about it until something happens for you. And that's been my life advice to everybody since then. We're gonna have to wrap this panel up in about 10 minutes, but if anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to take them. Throw your hands up.
Right over here.
Yeah, right here, yeah.
What's the video that you're most proud of?
Ooh.
That's a great question, because it's a very different question from what video has performed the best. I'll put it to you this way. I can't say one video in particular, but we've lately, in the last few months, on my channel anyway, started doing, every time one of the big movies comes out, we immediately go into the workshop to write a script and get everybody cast in the roles, get into the studio, and we do like a 10-ish minute long epic parody of that movie. And I love those so much, because part of it is that they're getting clicked on, people are watching them, but there's also the aspect of that's the kind of video that I've been trying to make ever since the YouTube channel hit. And even the kind of videos that I've been trying to make since I was 12 years old, and me and my friends were dreaming about this Batman movie we were gonna make on a camcorder, right? And so to feel like I'm actually making that stuff that I've been wanting to make all my life, and it's actually looking and feeling to me like I've dreamed in my head it was gonna look and feel like, and plus the whole aspect of it's all my friends that are taking part in it, and when we shoot the video, it's like a party atmosphere almost, and just a celebratory vibe and this kind of thing, and it's just, it's so much fun to do it, and then it's so much fun when people actually watch it. That's for me. What about for you? What's the video that you're most proud of on your channel?
For me, it's the newest one, actually. We just finished a 35-minute long Justice League parody, and that's been 3 months in the works, from pre-production with the script writing to getting all the costumes together, a month and a half of filming, and then the tedious editing process, which brings me to my next point, that you should be doing this for fun, for the pure love of it, because if not, all those hours, they'll be pretty like gruesome then. I truck through all those hours of editing because that's what I love to do. It's what I'm most passionate about. The point that Sean made when, you know, he dreamed of doing this as a kid, it was the same thing for me too. My dream job as a kid was an actor, being a movie director one day. And I was blessed to find that creative outlet back in college when I met my group at the Illini Film and Video Club, got the chance to finally start acting and directing, started with a Dark Knight parody, and then took it all the way to this Justice League spoof. But yeah, I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan, like Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, and the humor in this Justice League parody, I feel like we finally pretty much cracked the code to get humor like on that same level. So I'm very proud of the sharp writing, the deliveries, performances, and even the special effects, from making fun of Henry Cavill's bad upper lip CGI with that mustache, all the way to riding on a Power Wheels Batmobile as Batfleck. So yeah, that's pretty outrageous stuff.
I'm gonna ask Mackenzie to answer your question in just 1 second, but one point that he just made me think of is how he just said that he finally feels like he's nailed, like he's done it right, what he's trying to go for with the humor. But he's been putting videos up for 6 years or more, and that's just on the one channel. Forget what he's been making his whole life up to that point. So part of kind of having a success, not on YouTube, but just really at anything, is kind of being willing to do that long walk through sucking for a long time and putting stuff up anyway, because so many people just don't ever take a first step. You're never going to get anywhere because you have to take a first step to get anywhere, right? But it's a lot of people are so afraid of taking the first step because, oh, it's not perfect yet, I don't want it to be represented a certain way, I'm afraid people might perceive it a certain way or whatever. But it's not about that. Success is really about just like, make it, get it out. Make the next thing as fast as you can, get it out. Make the next thing as fast as you can, get it out. And just letting that build up, because it builds up over a number of years or however long it takes. It builds up into something that like goes big for you in ways that you couldn't have predicted or planned for back when you're trying to get everything perfect. Now I want you to, because I'm really curious about your answer, what video that we've done are you most proud of?
Honestly, it was the most recent Finesse cover.
Oh yeah, we did the Bruno Mars Finesse parody video, but we did it as Harley Quinn and the Joker, and it was distress.
So that one made me really happy because it's such a, like, we went from the concept to finishing it in production in like what, 3 days?
Yeah, I think
like
we
that?
had like the idea, we knew we needed to crank a video out because of the time that we were working with. So I think we had the idea, wrote it the next day at night after we did a big video shoot.
Yeah.
Everybody left. We stayed behind because I've got a studio space that I use, studio and office down on John Street here, and so we stayed late at the studio to write the thing, record her verse. I write and record my verse like later that night. Get the song ready to record the video the next night, and then have it up for that Friday, because this is the kind of timelines that we turn it around on.
So the reason that I'm like the most proud about that is because we were able to do it in such a short amount of time. We came up with the writing and the concept like in a second, and then a lot of things like that in my experience that you're like, oh, wouldn't this be cool if we did it, like blah blah blah, and then it just never happens. And then we did it in a day and a bit, and that's like kind of the running theme with like the entire channel, is that we started off like, oh, wouldn't this be neat, wouldn't that be cool, and then it happens, and we make it happen. We put in the time and the effort, and like we did choreography from the video, like we brought in, and it was not to say that it was like shot for shot perfect, but the similarity within the two videos was just, it made me, we were looking at a friggin' Bruno Mars video that's like high, crazy budget quality with Cardi B, and we're like, yeah, but we did that too.
Well, that's part of it too, is like it's always about figuring out the ways that you can, like if you're trying to, you know, in this to use this case of the Finesse video, like we're trying to do something that kind of mimics the style of it. So rather than try to get everything just like perfect and identical and looking the same, there's the same thing like we do with costumes, the same thing we do with when we're writing our sketches and all this kind of thing. There's an art to being able to know which points you have to get right, and then you can just make the rest your own. And there's definitely an art to that, and that's sort of what gives it your own creative voice. And so even if you're not doing a direct parody of something, everything, you get your ideas from somewhere, right? Everything is sort of an interpretation of something else on a certain level. And so there is an art to, you know, you stop worrying about getting everything right or perfect or whatever, and it's more about just figuring out where you can just get like a couple of points right and just do the rest your own way and let it be what it's gonna be. Because then you're just kind of leaving the door open for like interesting and unique surprises that are going to delight you. Do you want to take another question? Anybody else got a question? I see you over in the corner there. Let's do the Deadpool mask first.
Free Deadpool.
Yeah.
Person.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm wondering.
Yes.
When you're doing the whole different groups of people together, like big combination of cosplayers.
Yeah.
Now that's part one of it. So how do you get all of them together for it and going through the whole city and being allowed to take the film in different places?
So if I'm hearing you right, you're not asking about when we organize meetups at the ComiCon. You're talking about the ones we do like out in the street, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's actually, it's actually simpler than you might think. It's really as simple as we're at these Comic-Cons, right? And so we'll just like have an idea about one of those videos that we want to do in the next little while, and then everybody who's got a costume who's on theme, we'll just stop and talk to them and hey, here's what we're doing, here's who we are, here's what we got in mind, are you local, where you're from? We might talk to 100 people and a whole bunch of them are from out of town or can't make it or they're not actors, they don't have the comedic timing, they're not interested and all of that, you know, that's valid, live your life. But if you can get like a few people that are interested and then they get other people interested or maybe they bring a friend or somebody else hears what's going on, yeah, like that kind of thing just sort of ends up taking on a life of its own.
Yeah. Other times we start a Facebook event to make it a little bit easier to coordinate with the location, the time, and then keep a tally or pretty much a count of each character or person who's cosplaying that character for the event.
Yeah, it's almost just like a success of networking, right? Like, you know, hear about that, how important that is just in all kinds of businesses, just the idea of networking. And so we come to these cons, and as much as it's fun, we very much have a professional attitude about it, and we have an understanding that we're here to work. I mean, we are having fun, and we're very lucky that we get to do for work what we do, but we are very much focused on it being work. And so, you know, here's a good example, right? We'll go to a con in Florida, and while everybody else is at some fancy pants after party, we're back at the hotel room because we're making another video. And it's like, to us, that is partying, and that is the fun to have, you know what I mean, and this kind of thing. And as far as being allowed to do it, it's not really so much as being allowed. It's almost like we take the...
just kind of hang out there.
If you don't ask, they can't say no.
Yeah.
Sort of
Seize the opportunity.
We do whatever we want until we're told to leave, and then we quietly go about our day.
Yeah, and then
then
we go
come
to the
back the next week.
Tell us to leave. Yeah, we've been kicked out of the Eaton Center lots of times, Dundas Square lots of times.
Spider-Man versus Goblin.
Oh God, we did a video, this is going back a few years. So one of the trips that he took up here, we went out a couple of days after Fan Expo, so it was the middle of the week. He's got his Green Goblin costume on, and we had a
Sam
Spider-Man
Raimi Goblin helmet and everything.
The web shooters were just the dudes holding 2 silly string cans, and he's shooting silly string like across the food court at the Eaton Center.
How you
I
guys
had
did
an
not
air
get
horn
arrested?
just to make it more obnoxious.
Yeah, we decided on the air horn just to make it. The Green Goblin does not use an air horn, but now it's everywhere we go. So we were getting kicked out of Tim Hortons, we're getting kicked out of the mall, we're getting kicked out of Best Buy, all this kind of stuff. What's the nuttiest kind of interaction with like authorities or security or anything that you've seen on one of these shoots?
Probably when we didn't really get kicked out. It was when we were in the Eaton Center. Oh no! Same video for Deadpool versus Lady Deadpool, and we got kicked out of the Eaton Center like within 30 seconds. Our Deadpool climbed a clock tower and changed the time.
Scared me. So yeah, big metal tower with the clock like 50 feet in the air, maybe 75 feet in the air. But because the outside of it had like, it was a little bit like a cage kind of mesh, he could get his fingers in it. He climbed the bloody thing in his full Deadpool costume, changed the time on the clock, and the whole time I'm going, dude, we don't have insurance for this, man.
Like, but Deadpool.
You might dead. You might dead. Jesus. And then for that, still same video, is when we were at the skating rink, because this was like the dead of winter as well. There was a skating rink. We were in our little spandex suits, and at City Hall, and they were like in the middle of Zamboniing the ice rink, and our Deadpool just like ran across the rink and like slipped around for a solid minute until the guy like chased him off with skates.
Yeah, so a lot of it too is that we have that attitude where it's like the interesting interactions with the authorities and whatnot just become like part of the vibe of it and part of the video, and we almost kind of were waiting for that to happen on a certain level. So you, Jason here, we mentioned he comes from Florida. Here in Toronto, it's very dense, very urban. It's, you know, a downtown kind of looking thing. But where you live in Florida, it's not that same urban kind of environment. So what kind of, do you have any interactions with the authorities? Because you're still out like in public doing this stuff.
Very rarely, actually. The fact that we have that base of operations in VR Comics, the comic book shop on the Space Coast, which has really become the cosplay hub there, gives us that location where we don't have to worry about the authorities coming in. And actually, the surrounding stores, they're pretty used to it by now, seeing all these superheroes coming in and out, riding on these Power Wheel vehicles, on two-wheel self-balancing scooters, just doing these outrageous things for our YouTube parodies that, you know, they kind of expect it, and they actually welcome that. They love getting photos of us or walking into the shop for events, seeking us out, and even telling us to come in character to crash some birthday parties they have going on in their Italian restaurant, or they just come in from the hairstyle place next door just wanting to interact with us. So they're used to it, so we're fortunate in that regard. Nice. And actually, lately we've been pretty fortunate too not to have any security take note of us. We even shot a video in a hotel that I'm not going to name because we kind of want to do the same thing this year, but after MegaCon we went back to one of the elevators in the hotel that we were staying at to shoot a parody of that scene from Captain America where he gets into a fight with all those Hydra agents, but we had random bystanders there reacting to it. We of course got their permission, like, hey, this is about to go down, are you cool with it, do you want to be in it? Yes, all right, consent, go to it. And just fighting each other, fighting these Hydra agents, and these bystanders are like, what the hell is going on, going all wide-eyed and laughing. So, you know, just making a thrill for them and, you know, a thrill for us. And like Sean said, it's work after hours, after the convention, but, you know, we had the time of our life doing that. We laughed our asses off eating dinner after that Captain America elevator spoof, just reminiscing about it.
Nice. There was one more question behind the furry Deadpool. Is that gorgeous, beautiful redhead lady back
yeah,
there?
we like her.
I can't tell if that's a wig or what,
fancy.
but damn, she's good looking. What did you have to say? What was your question?
Oh boy.
Hopefully 10 million.
Right?
100 million.
Well, here's the thing. When you get to 100,000, YouTube sends you a plaque with a silver play button on it. When you get to 1 million, they send you a bigger plaque with a bigger gold play button on it. And when you get to 10 million, you get like this glass diamond, like not a plaque, but like a three-dimensional object. This glass diamond with the top of it is like a play button up here. And when I saw that they introduced that, I was just like, okay, I have to have that. So I'm going to keep pushing. Because there was once upon a time I couldn't even dream that it would do 1 million subscribers, but 10 million is just like, now that we passed 1 million, and I mean, the team that we got, dare I say it, the team is just that good that I think that as this tight collective, we could get that far. Mr. Man with the tie, yes.
Yeah, AMC is doing marathon.
Oh, the Marvel Marathon? Uh-huh.
1 hour, only 2 theaters. One of them is in Orlando. Are you going?
Oh.
Probably not, because I won't be able to stay up long enough for the 31 hours, however long it is. But it's an excellent idea. I did the same thing, though, when they had the Dark Knight trilogy screening, when Dark Knight Rises came out. It was a blast. It was kind of a challenge in terms of energy to do, but for anyone who is interested in it, hell, it's a hell of a time, you know, if you could stay up that long for the entire marathon, go for it. Sounds like a blast.
Kind of the modern equivalent of people who go see, what's that opera, the Ring of the Nibelung or whatever, and there's like 8 hours long or whatever, and some will go over the whole thing. This is like 4 of those in a row. All right, Mr. Man in the front row.
The Sean Ward Show.
Yeah, so I'm the Sean Ward Show, and his channel is called Make 'Em Laugh Films, and we collaborate with each other a lot. So if you are outside in the hall, right out here, and you see the booth that's underneath the escalator that has the TV going, and the superheroes on the TV, that's us. So just look for that TV, and we will give you, specifically you, comic books and stickers and all kinds of stuff. You know what? We'll also give that to all of you guys too. And if you want to come by the booth, we'll load you up with some interesting stuff. Because we get a lot of cool stuff. Anybody else have any questions there? Yeah, we can try to take one more question, or we can get out of here a little early, and everybody can enjoy the ComiCon.
Party.
All right, cool.
Don't you drop that mic.
Well, what's the before we wrap things up? Let's go down the row and give them. What's your inspirational message for the children?
Persevere. You may not get a viral video right off the bat, but if you keep doing what you love, eventually you will be noticed. Whether it be fellow YouTubers, audience members, just fans of the arts, or convention organizers, you will be reached out to. You will pick up steam. Just keep doing what you love, and then people see that you're having fun exploring your passion, and you know, you will get noticed in the end. So yeah, persevere.
What's your inspirational message to the children?
Keep learning. Keep teaching yourself, or taking the opportunity to learn from other people that have been in the business that you are in. Find mentors, find collaborators. Just keep pushing yourself to be better and do better, and things will come to you no matter what. If you just keep on doing what you said, what you love, and like learning more about the thing that you love. Question?
No license required. Thank God.
Kind of just do it and hope
Yeah,
for the
I would,
best.
I would love to
Exactly.
see the form you would have to fill out to get that license.
Yeah.
Yeah,
agreed.
so so that was just the 5-minute call anyway. So unless there's one last question to squeeze in, no, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for coming to the panel, everybody. Oh, I didn't say mine.
Yeah, you didn't say your message.
My inspirational message to the children is just that it's all about being that magic word that I love, prolific. Make a lot of things because you're gonna get better fast. Time is on your side to develop your talent and develop your vision. So make a lot of things and keep making them, and just keep on making them until something catches on and ends up being a hit for you.
So general statement, keep on keeping on.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, our booth is the area right underneath the escalator with the TV going and the superhero videos on the TV. So come find us and we'll load you up with stickers and comic books. And
Buttons.
all
We have
kinds of
so many
free-
buttons.
We got
Guys,
buttons
take our
galore.
flipping buttons.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for attending.
yeah.
We are the Sean Ward Show. Make 'em laugh films.
Oh.
Have a good night.